The silence settles in the space where everything we knew once stayed. No final word, no clean goodbye,
just what remains.
We crossed a line we can't redraw. We saw too much, we broke the law of who we were supposed to be
and who we'd be. We didn't fall, we didn't rise, we changed somewhere between the lines. We broke the world to see the sky, tore it open just to find something we can't leave behind.
Even now,
there's light that slips through what we've done. Not enough to call it done, but enough to know we've begun something else. You walk a path I can't quite see. I hold a shape you left in me.
I'm not the same you used to know. You're not the one I'd let go.
We didn't win, we didn't lose, we became something we can't undo. We broke the world to see the sky, tore it open just to find something we can't leave behind. Even now, there's light that slips through what we've made, through the fracture, through the fade, through the pieces that remain. Still alive.
Maybe we were never meant
to finish what we started.
Maybe that was never the point.
We broke the world to see the sky,
And I still see it in your eyes.
even if we're worlds apart. There's light that lingers in the rift, not enough to close the shift, but enough to know it exists. Just a spark, still a line, still a place we can find. Worlds apart, out of sight, still we meet in the night.
Chapter 7. Light Through the Rift. A fragile truce. The balcony doors were closed. That was new. Astarion didn't approach immediately. He stood at the edge of the adjoining rooftop, watching the light spill from within. Steady, controlled, nothing like the chaos he had half expected. "She's inside," Leon said quietly behind him. "I know." "They're waiting." Astarion's mouth curved slightly. "Of course they are." He crossed the distance anyway. The balcony doors opened before he touched them. Gale stood there, not surprised. "You came?" she said. "You left the door closed," he replied. "That wasn't my decision." A beat. "Should I be concerned?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "but not in the way you think." Astarion stepped inside. He felt it immediately. Eyes. Not hidden. Not subtle. Lady Halvan stood near the far side of the room, composed as ever, flanked by two others. Watching. Measuring. "Bold," she said. Astarion inclined his head slightly. "Careless," he corrected. Gale's gaze flicked between them. "We're not doing this again," she said. "No," Lady Halvan agreed. "We're not." Astarion's brow lifted. "That's unexpected." It's practical, she replied. A pause. You will not see her in the streets again, Lady Halvan continued. Astarion's expression cooled. And what happens if I do? You won't, she said. Not a threat. A statement. Silence. She will not follow you into places she cannot survive, Lady Halvan added. Gale stiffened. I can decide that. You can, Lady Halvan said, and you will decide correctly. A beat. Then. She looked back to Astarion. You may come here, she said. That was unexpected. Astarion didn't hide it. On occasion, she added, under observation. Charming. You will not feed from her. Astarion's jaw tightened. I wasn't planning to. You will not bring your family into this space. Astarion let out a quiet breath. That's less negotiable. Then negotiate it, she replied. Silence stretched. Gale stepped forward. This is not a negotiation, she said. It is exactly that, Lady Halvan replied. A pause. Then. Softer, but no less firm. We are choosing not to remove the problem. The words landed. Astarion didn't react. Not outwardly. We are choosing to contain it, she finished. Silence. Gale's voice dropped. And if we don't agree? Lady Halvan held her gaze. Then we revisit the alternative. There it was. Clear. Unmistakable. Gale looked at Astarion, not asking, but not deciding alone either. Astarion exhaled slowly. This is a terrible arrangement, he said. Yes, Lady Halvan replied. Restrictive. Necessary. A beat. Astarion's gaze shifted back to Gale. She didn't look away. For now, he said. Gale's lips curved. For now. The choice. The room had emptied. Eventually. The tension lingered longer than the voices did, settling into the walls, into the air, into something neither of them could quite ignore. Gale closed the balcony doors behind the last of them. Not locked, just closed. Astarion remained where he was near the edge of the room, posture still, expression unreadable. Well, he said lightly, that was charming. Gale let out a quiet breath. They didn't kill you. High praise. She turned to face him. They meant it, she said. I know. Silence. Not hostile. Not distant. Just heavy. Gale crossed the room slowly, stopping a few steps away from him. This won't work, she said. Astarion's brow lifted slightly. No? No. A beat. You don't sound particularly upset about that. I'm not, she said. That caught his attention. Astarion straightened slightly. That's new. Gale's lips curved faintly. Yes. A pause. I'm not staying here, she added. The words landed clean. Astarion didn't interrupt. Not like this, she continued. Not with them deciding what I am, who I see, what I'm allowed to become. Her voice didn't shake. It didn't need to. And where exactly do you plan on going? He asked. Gale tilted her head slightly. Somewhere smaller, she said. Somewhere that doesn't care about lineage or expectation. A beat. Worms crossing, maybe. Astarion huffed a soft breath. That's a significant downgrade. That's the point. He studied her. You're serious. Yes. Silence. And what do you intend to do there? He asked. Gale's expression shifted, something lighter now. Work, she said. Actual work, not performance. Astarion's brow lifted. Dangerous. Everything is, she replied. A pause. I can make things, she continued. Potions, remedies, something useful, something that's mine. Astarion watched her closely. Not the words. Her. The way she said it. You've been thinking about this, he said. Yes. For how long? Gale hesitated. Longer than I admitted. A small silence. And I assume this has nothing to do with me, he said lightly. Gale met his gaze. It has everything to do with you. That was not what he expected. Astarion stilled. You showed up, she said. You did exactly what you wanted, exactly how you wanted, without asking permission from anyone. A beat. And you survived it. Astarion let out a quiet, humorless breath. Barely. Gale's lips curved. Still counts. Silence. I've been waiting, she continued softer now, for something to change, for someone to tell me I was ready, for it to make sense. A pause. It doesn't. Astarion didn't speak. So I'm going anyway, she said. The words landed. Simple. Certain. And this arrangement? He asked, gesturing vaguely toward the room, the space, the invisible lines her family had drawn. Gale glanced around once. It's temporary. A beat. Everything here is. Astarion's gaze returned to her. And what about us? That. Hung. Gale didn't answer immediately. She stepped closer. Not cautiously. Deliberately. We're not either as long as you want it to be, she said. Astarion's expression shifted. No. No. A beat. We're not something they get to define, she continued, and we're not something that fits neatly into whatever this is supposed to be. A small pause. But we're also not something that lasts the way I thought things were supposed to. Astarion exhaled slowly. That's reassuring. It's honest. Silence. Gale's voice softened. This isn't forever, she said. Astarion's jaw tightened. I know. A beat. But that doesn't mean it's nothing. That landed. Astarion looked at her. Really looked. You're choosing a very complicated path, he said. Gale smiled. I think I always was. A pause. And you? She asked. Astarion tilted his head slightly. What about me? Are you going to let me go do this? She asked. Or are you going to tell me it's too dangerous and try to stop me? Astarion huffed a quiet breath. I already tried that. And? I learned my lesson. Gale's smile widened just slightly. Good. A beat. Astarion's expression softened. Just a fraction. Worms crossing, he said. Yes. That's going to be a disaster. Probably. A pause. I'll want to see it, he added. Gale's gaze held his. I know. Silence settled between them. Lighter now. Not resolved, but moving. Gale stepped back first. Not away. Forward. I'm not waiting anymore, she said. Astarion watched her. No, he said quietly. You're not. Worms crossing. The sign wasn't straight. Gale knew it wasn't straight. She had adjusted it 3 times already. It still leaned slightly to the left. That's going to bother you. Gale didn't turn. It already does. Astarion stood just inside the doorway, one shoulder against the frame, gaze drifting over the space with poorly concealed skepticism. This is it? He asked. Gale stepped back, hands on her hips, looking at the shop like it might rearrange itself into something more impressive if she stared long enough. Yes. A pause. Astarion glanced at the shelves, half-filled, mismatched bottles, bundles of herbs hanging unevenly from hooks, a work table cluttered with notes and glassware. It's small. That's the idea. It's also crooked. I noticed. A beat. Astarion's lips curved. You left all of that. He gestured vaguely upward, meaning the estate, the towers, the weight of her name. For this. Gale turned to face him. Yes. No hesitation. Astarion studied her. You're serious. I was serious when I said it. You say a lot of things. And I mean most of them. A pause. Astarion pushed off the doorframe and stepped further inside, running a gloved finger lightly along one of the shelves. Dust. He looked at it. Then at her. You've been here how long? 3 weeks. And you haven't cleaned. I've been busy. Doing what? Gale gestured around. This. Astarion's brow lifted. This is not a complete sentence. It is when you're the one doing it. A small silence. Then he glanced back at her. They let you go. Not a question. Gale huffed a quiet breath. No, she said, they didn't. Astarion tilted his head slightly. Then how are you here? Gale leaned back against the table, arms folding loosely. I left anyway. A beat. I'm shocked. You shouldn't be. Astarion's gaze sharpened. And what happened when you did? Gale smiled, not pleasantly. They had opinions. I can imagine. They tried to make it sound reasonable, she continued, like they were giving me choices. A pause. They weren't. Astarion watched her carefully now. They said I didn't understand what I was risking, she added. They're not entirely wrong. I didn't say they were. A beat. They said I was being manipulated. Astarion's expression shifted. Just slightly. And? Gale's lips curved. I told them if I was, at least it was more interesting than what they were offering. Astarion let out a quiet laugh. That sounds like you. They didn't agree. I'm shocked. A pause. They said if I continued, Gale went on, voice quieter now, they would handle it. The words lingered. Astarion didn't look away. And you stayed anyway. Yes. Silence. Astarian's voice dropped. That was a risk. I know. A beat. And you came here. Gale nodded. It's mine, she said simply. The words settled. Not loud. Not grand. But solid. Astarian glanced around again. At the uneven shelves. The cluttered table. The crooked sign. You built this. I'm building it, she corrected. A pause. It's not finished. Astarian's lips curved faintly. It suits you. Gale raised a brow. That sounds like an insult. It's not. A beat. It's honest. Silence. Then Gale turned back to the table, picking up a small vial, swirling its contents thoughtfully. I tried to make a stabilizing draft yesterday, she said. And? Gale held up the vial. It fizzed. Then changed color. Then sparked faintly. Astarian leaned slightly away. I assume that's not intentional. No. A beat. It didn't explode this time. High praise. Gale smiled. I'm improving. Astarian watched her. Not the vial. Her. You look different, he said. Gale glanced up. How? Astarian considered that. Less contained. Gale huffed a soft laugh. That's because I am. A pause. And you came anyway, she added. Astarian's brow lifted slightly. I said I would want to see it. That's not the same as showing up. A beat. Astarian's gaze held hers. No, he said. It isn't. Silence settled between them. Not heavy. Just real. Gale set the vial down. You don't have to stay, she said. Astarian tilted his head. I know. A pause. I wasn't planning to. Gale's lips curved. Of course not! Another beat. Astarian glanced toward the shelves again. The dust. The clutter. The very questionable arrangement of everything. Then back at her. However, he said, brushing his fingers together as if still offended by the dust, if you can locate something to wear in this establishment that isn't actively decaying. Gale narrowed her eyes. It is not decaying. I might be persuaded, he continued smoothly, to take you out for a bite to eat. A beat. Gale crossed her arms. A bite to eat, she repeated. Yes. She studied him. I'm not on the menu. Astarian's mouth curved. Darling, I had gathered that was frowned upon. Good. A pause. And appreciated. Something in his expression shifted. Just slightly. But he didn't comment on it. Well, he said, gesturing lightly toward the shelves, I assume you keep something edible hidden in here somewhere? Gale turned, already moving toward the back table. I do, she said. You're just not looking in the right places. Astarian followed at an unhurried pace. That seems to be a recurring issue. Gale glanced back at him. Only for you. A beat. Then she smiled. And this time, he didn't deflect it. He stopped a step behind her. Gale. She turned. Astarion didn't speak immediately. His gaze moved over the space again, the uneven shelves, the clutter, the half-finished work. Then back to her. Something in his expression shifted. You did this, he said. Gale blinked. I'm doing this, she corrected, softer now. Astarion stepped closer. No, he said. You chose it. A beat. And that's harder. The words settled. Gale's expression softened just slightly. I didn't think you were going to approve. I don't, he replied lightly. A pause. Then. Quieter. I'm impressed. Gale huffed a soft breath. That's not the same. No, he said. It's better. She stilled. Astarion reached out, slow this time, deliberate, and brushed a loose strand of hair back from her face. Not a performance. Not a game. Just gentle. You built something that's yours, he said, without them, without permission. A beat. That's rare. Gale's breath caught slightly. You're the one who should be proud, she said. Astarion's brow lifted. Of what? This, she said, gesturing faintly, not just the shop, but everything around them. A pause. You're the reason I stopped waiting. That landed. Astarion stilled. For a moment, the usual deflection, the charm, the ease, the practiced distance didn't come. Instead, something quieter settled in its place. I didn't do anything, he said. Gale shook her head. You showed me I could. Silence. Astarion looked at her, really looked. And, for once, he let himself feel it. Not performance. Not survival. Something else. That's new, he said quietly. Gale's lips curved. Get used to it. Astarion huffed a soft breath. Almost a laugh. Then. He pulled her into him. Not urgent. Not desperate. Certain. Gale didn't hesitate. And when he kissed her, it wasn't about distraction. Or escape. It was about staying.